Okay, good afternoon everyone. I'm Chaplin. Welcome to APCA Online. Today I will do the live demo for your fruit cake. I think it's very common cake for everybody. During Christmas, this kind of a solid and fruit cake is very common. Even as a pastry chef, you must know how to do the fruit cake during the Christmas. And then, if you're not Christian, you also will do for your, I think your cake shop, bakery, or maybe online sales, or sometime in the hotel must. Okay? So now I will tell you about something about fruit cake. Normally, last time they have the extra fruit left over, they will do process, soak with the syrup. Then you get this kind of dry fruit on your hand. So the pastry chef, they start develop the products with the dry fruit. Because when you harvest all the fresh fruit already, you're not going to finish everything. Even you made the tart already, everything. So the extra one, what they do? They will try to keep it, so they process with the sugar. So they come out the like panettone, they use the mixed fruit, the stolen, and then the minced meat pie, and then fruit cake is one of the very signature. They use a lot of mixed fruit. So for my recipe, also condense a lot of the mixed fruit. Okay, I have the recipe, have the soaking with the alcohol one, the mixed fruit. I have the golden raisin. Okay, rum, walnut for texture, apricot, cranberry, figs, prune, and then we also have the red cherry candies. Okay, this one you can process early. One thing very important, like last time my shop, I normally will soak for 1 year, okay, with the rum. What kind of rum you want to use also can. Black rum or spy rum also can. It depends on your market what they don't like. Okay, after you soak, it will condense some liquid. So normally what can I do? I will place some flour, just a portion, roughly about to cover all the mixed fruit, wet one. So during baking, they won't sink a lot inside the mixed fruit won't sink down to the bottom. So you can prevent it. So I will put a little bit more. Because your mixture contains some liquid, so they will become heavy. During baking, they absorb the heat already, they will sink down. It's very common. Right? Now, I'll mix all the dry. You may ask, can I soak all the mixed fruit inside? No problem. You can soak the figs, everything, no problem. Only, I prefer when you eat the fruit cake, you have the different texture. Like you have the soaking the alcohol one, and then this one's the golden raisin. There is the didn't soak, but they can provide another texture inside. So that your cake don't be too heavy or too moist, and then the baking time will be too long. Okay, one of the information. So now, this one I keep aside. Now I will do the creaming method, which is room temperature butter. You can leave it outside for about 2-3 hours, no problem. I put in the room temperature is an aircon, so they won't affect a lot. If very warm, you also better don't put too long outside. Okay, vanilla essence, and then I will also add in the black pepper. It's about 20 grams. If you don't want, you can skip. Optional this one. I prefer the flavor looks stronger. And then they have the burnt sugar flavor, or maybe if you can say molasses flavor. So I will start beat it with a medium speed. Starting, I will use a low speed. I will compress the air inside. So I can start the speed now, not to speed up.
Is it cake flour you are coating with dry fruit?
Yes, I use the cake flour.
Give some non-alcohol options into the food.
If you don't want to soak the alcohol, just ignore the alcohol only. You just use all the dry food.
Is it the mixed food need to be soaked for 1 year?
If you want better result, you soak for 1 year, we will get a tasty mixed food because the alcohol will take time to go into the middle of the food, so they will take time. So if longer you keep, the flavor will be getting more. And then they also will give you different flavor of the dry food, and then your costing of your cake you can slightly pick up, but you also can sell expensive. Don't sell too cheap for your fruit cake because it's a time and then the costing for the fruit cake is quite high.
Chef, maybe you can speak slow a bit.
Okay. I mean, you can slightly higher up the price you're selling because the dry fruit everything is expensive. Okay, and then you also take time to soak the fruit, and then you may, I give you one option like last time my shop they do. What they do, they sell the cake. For example, they soak the fruit 1 year. I use for the next year. I beat the cake. I keep the cake after done inside the freezer for 1 year to maturization. They sell after another year, which means you need to prepare 2 years. But the cake, they can sell very expensive. Okay. It's like maybe 200 ringgit Malaysia for this kind of size. 200 ringgit. Okay? This one is not so big. You see my hand? Almost like the hand size. They can sell 200 because the alcohol they usage, the food, the quality they use, and then the time they spend. So they can charge expensive. And then I tell you one thing, they have the market desire. I mean the customer were looking for this kind of cake, so you can sell on during Christmas. So I continue back the step. Like what I said, I will slightly torch to let the process faster.
Have you added the brown sugar to the butter?
Yes.
Normally we add spice to the rich fruit cake, but here you are not adding any spice.
It's up to you. I want to represent my cake with a more food flavor. If you want to add on cinnamon, yes, up to you. For my cake, I like molasses flavor more, so I didn't add any cinnamon or the spices inside. It's up to you. If you want to add on, you just add about 1 or 2%.
Chef, can you explain from the beginning as was unable to understand?
I don't understand how to say beginning.
Maybe we can from cream the butter.
Creaming method is very common in the basic class, guys. Okay, you just put the butter, sugar, vanilla essence, and the black pepper inside. Just pop the air. Very simple. Okay. And then the mixed food, I said I already asked you to coat the flour to prevent the sink down. That's all. Alright? If you're not sure, you can refer back the basic class. You don't know what is the creaming method. Okay? Alright, we will only go until this stage. No need to cover too much air inside for this creaming method. Because I told you before, the recipe contains mixed fruits more than the mixture. So now I will slowly add in the flour first. A bit different I do. I add the flour first. Slowly add on. Then I also add in some eggs.
For how long do you mix?
Approximately 5 to 10 minutes only. No need too long, guys. I told you before, I have more food than the mixture, so you don't need to cover too much the air inside. Not necessary. Okay?
Chef, is this recipe available on APCA or not?
If intensive, not for the intensive class. It's not for the full time, guys. So far, any questions, guys?
If let's take the recipe available in our classroom online, how will you see?
No, I say it's different. It's an intensive class. Maybe in a master class. Okay, guys? It's slightly different. The basic, the class you see in the travel cake class, the recipe a bit different. You can refer back the recipe today and the travel cake class in the intermediate class. Okay, I will scrap the side because you don't need to even the mixture. Okay. Because the side, they still contain the butter, which means they still have the whole mixture. So that you need to scrap. If not, the butter will stick to the side. Okay. Now you see I will add all the mixed food inside. Low speed. Okay, meanwhile you add on, you need to place the rum inside. If you don't have rum, you can place the orange juice. If you don't like alcohol version, you just ignore, you can put the orange juice. Even your food, you can soak inside the orange juice, the apple juice, up to you, okay? If not, you just place the normal mixed food inside the cake, no problem. This one all the flavor. Because during winter time, they all eat this type of cake. They want to heat the body. Also, you're not feeling so cold after it, and then you need the energy. So the calorie for this cake is quite high. Okay, slightly mix out, done. And now I will show you the mixture. This one is one type of travel cake, guys, because you can bring this cake during the Christmas time until the next day. You still can leave it outside for 1 week or 2 weeks, no problem about that. The cell life, no problem. Okay, and then you also have the alcohol to keep it, that can kill the bacteria. And then most of the food already processed. They don't have a lot of liquid inside, so that they can long last this cake. For Malaysia, I can long last for 2 to 3 weeks at the room temperature. If you contain alcohol. So you see the mixture is like this one. Okay. So now I will using the mold. Okay. I will use a silicone mold this time. If you want to use a loaf, mold, you just place a parchment paper at the side and then you bake it. It's the same effect. Because I want a different shape, I want this kind of leaf shape, so I will use the silicone this time. So very simple. First, you place the mixed fruit half inside. Mixed fruit cake. Then I will use the spoon to compact the bottom at the side as well. Okay? You see I press very nicely. After that, I will explain about some of the travel cake theory to you all. Okay? If you want to faster the process, you can use the food processor. Right? Just blend everything except the mixed fruit and the nuts. Then you just blend. Then you add the mixed fruit inside, then done. Go slightly faster. Okay guys, for this recipe, if you're using the big loaf cake, you can get 2 pieces. For the small size like this one, like my finger, or like my hand, you will get about 3 to 4 pieces. Okay, we'll play about 90%. So at the side, I'll use my finger to clean it. Okay. The temperature I will bake is 180 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, you no need to change the temperature, you directly use the same oven, turn the oven to 150 for 50 minutes. I already have one extra already done just now, so later I will show you one more method. Okay, we do the recap. In the beginning, I will add on some flour to the mixed fruit. You see the recipe mixed fruit? They already soaked in the alcohol. Mixing time, okay. So after I put the flour to coating the mixed fruit, after that I will directly add in another type of the dry fruit, okay, include the nut, and then I will set aside, and then I will start begin with the butter, brown sugar, vanilla essence, and the bread cracker. You beat until 5 to 10 minutes, it's up to you. Normally I give 5 minutes because I told you before that there is very little amount of the cake, it's more on food, so you don't need to beat up too much. If you like very soft texture, very light texture, then you go through more air inside. Okay? Then after that, after 5 minutes, I will add in the flour. After adding the flour, I will add in the eggs, mix well. Then I will use the all dry fruit, go inside, mix up, you get the mixture just now, then you place inside the mold. Okay? Then the baking time is 180 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes, another 150 degrees Celsius for 50 minutes. The reason, yes, 150. The first 180 degrees Celsius because I want the surface have the brown color nicely. Okay? After that, I turn back to 150 to slow down the temperature, and then I will bake 50 degrees, 50 minutes, okay? 50 to proper coat. So how you check? Just put the steamer inside. You pop inside. If they have nothing come out, which means okay. Okay?
Chef, still have one question. Fresh orange or ready-mix orange juice?
You-
For how long?
So for 2 days, it's similar to your Christmas pudding yesterday. Okay, you just soak for 2 days. Orange juice is soak for 3-4 days. The orange juice quality will be changed. There is no alcohol, so it's different.
Okay, this recipe ales can get how many cakes?
Just now I mentioned 4 for the big size my hand. Okay, for the loaf cake 2. I got mentioned just now before. So this is the out from the oven. Okay, this one I bake morning. So just take out from the oven, you directly pour the alcohol on the surface. Okay, I will let it sink inside. You can use brush if you want. So we'll let it cool down and then we'll unmold. So it's after cool down, if you don't want to use immediately, for example, some of you ready the Christmas dinner, right? You can pre-do this cake for 1 or 2 weeks at once. So you can keep inside the room temperature. If you don't want, you can keep inside the freezer. Before Christmas Eve, for example, you can take out the cake early, 3 to 4 days, because you let it leave it on the room temperature to let everything maturization, and then the alcohol release out, the flavor come out again. It takes about 3 to 4 days. And then also depend on your temperature, because some of the country very cold, so that it may be late longer times. Whenever 1 week early, the best. For Malaysia, 3 to 4 days is maximum, because our weather is a bit warm. So this one I will keep to let it cool down. And this one is the okay. Now I will change the temperature.
How much alcohol to pour on the cake?
Actually, I don't have the certain amount. I say I want to pour 100 grams. No, it's up to you. Like just now, I pour is about 3 to 40 grams. Okay, 30 to 40 grams. Okay, I will check the texture. For example, just now the cakes. Okay, I didn't count. Okay, guys. I just pour on top, everything coating with alcohol, then enough. But for sure, you're not soaking the alcohol inside your cakes, or you just sprinkle to prevent the cake, the surface dry. Okay? Now you provided the flavor, the surrounding, because you cook for 45 minutes to 50 minutes in the oven. The side will be dry and lose the flavor, only the caramelized flavor. So now you add on the flavor and the alcohol on top to get the extra flavor, and that also help you to let the cake long last.
Chef, the technique of adding the flour before the egg go in, what is the reason, and can this is be applied to other cake as well, say in pound cake?
Okay, if you really want to apply this method, normally the mixture is very liquid, only you can apply this method. If not, pound cake, everything is a 1 pound, then you don't necessarily use this method, because the thing solid is a lot and then the liquid less. You see this one that I have the mixed fruit inside, and then they have a lot of condensed eggs, and then they also have the alcohol inside, so that I put the flour. If I put the egg early, it will be easy to spit out the egg and the sugar. That's the reason I apply this method.
What is the weight of the cake that you are cutting?
The cake cutting. How many grams? This one 300.
Chef, my sponge is not soft like you. Why?
What sponge?
Chef, the alcohol you pour right after baking?
Yes, just out from the oven. Because it's the best time to absorb the flavor. And then also dilute.
Any replacement of egg in this one?
No. I do the classic fruit cake. I didn't apply for the eggless, guys. Sorry. If you really want to go through the eggless, maybe you can change to. Maybe you can check another recipe in the eggless class. This one is a fruit cake. It's a classic because we also need to concern about some of the students that really want to celebrate the. Okay. Not only few countries. They say some country they really like the whole cake. So and then what we decide is we do the whole classic fruit cake, not the eggless, sorry. Then now I will do decoration. So guys, this one is a hot gel, okay? Apricot hot glaze. I'll add in some water inside, and then I will boil. I add the water, I just want to liquefy the glaze only. There is no certain amount, okay? For example, you want to add on, you add 10, 30 to 40 grams. Okay, just melted. Okay guys, you may ask, Chef, can I use the neutral glaze? Yes, but I prefer use a hot glaze, apricot glaze or apricot gel because the flavor is better, and then after 2 to 3 days, your glaze won't be dry. Apricot is like the jelly they're coating outside, okay? If you use a neutral glaze, you leave it outside for 2 days, they will dry up, they become harder. There will be that texture like pepper, okay? And then I want better flavor. I also add a small amount of alcohol inside. Just tips on this one, alright? If you don't want to add on, it's up to you. If you want to run the production like big production, you can freeze your cake first, only you apply the apricot glaze. They will set very fast, they won't drip. Okay, now you see the boil. Then I will stop the heat. Then I will transfer it here. Then I will start doing something. Okay. This cake, after frozen, I keep inside the chiller. Now it's still a bit hot. We'll apply the apricot glaze on top. Okay, this one is the protection as well, guys. I place the apricot glaze like they protect. They can provide the moisture. They also provided protection for your cake to let the bacteria go through. It's like the blocking, you see. I didn't say I put very thin, but you see, it's quite thick. It's like protection. Include the side, I will place it. Only the bottom I didn't apply. Right, like this way. I'll place it in the middle. Okay. Then I will start with decoration. So what I have the cherry, okay, prunes, apricot, pear, dry pear, walnut, pistachio, vanilla, and figs. So first, place one pieces of cocoon in the middle first. There's like a base for you to weigh the highness. Okay. After that, now place the pear. Another side, fig. Cherry. Report. I will put all the mixture on the top. So that's why I say you may sell very expensive for this cake. This also is the fig. Prunes. Still put the cherry. Walnut. Place one more spoon over here. Pistachio, you will see the contrast. Surrounding, okay? Okay, the last vanilla stick after use. Okay. Now the decoration almost done. But I will still do one thing. We'll place the gold leaf. middle I will put this. So your dry fruit cake, or maybe the fruit cake, can be go very grand. So that's why I say you can sell 200 for Malaysia ringgit, there is no problem. So this is the fruit cake. Then I will show you the middle. I don't spoil this cake. So this is the cake as after slide. I will show you the middle. There's an inside of the cakes. Okay. So now guys, question.
Okay, chef. Chef, when you pour the alcohol to the travel cake after bake,
Okay.
should be room temperature or hot?
Hot. I told you before, I say hot, they can absorb the alcohol and also evaporate extra alcohol. Okay? During your cake very hot, they help you to evaporate the alcohol flavor. They just let the flavor from the alcohol to your cake. They know it's not the alcohol inside. Right? Understand? Hot. And then your cake, after cool down, they will not easy to absorb the alcohol. Okay? You'll waste the alcohol function.
What is the recipe for the mix? Means the ingredient.
No ingredient, I just bought in the bakery ingredient shop. It's very common thing in the, even you go grocery, you also can get it at apricot gel. If not, you just buy apricot gel, you add in some liquid.
Chef, can you please give a non-alcoholic option to pour over the cake?
Just now I mentioned 30 to 40 grams, right? 30 to 40 grams.
Non-alcohol.
Non-alcohol, same as the yesterday you referred back the Christmas pudding one night. It's about 190 gram of the 190 gram of the orange juice, the apple juice to soak.
Chef, just now you put the cherry are fresh or dry?
Candy cherry, I didn't use any fresh cherry. Guys, it's not recommended you use the fresh cherry, guys. Your cake will spoil fast because, and then the fresh cherry is not suitable for coke, they will leak out the liquid, okay? Question?
Chef, your decoration is so good and so beautiful.
Thank you.
Can we see the recorded video later on?
I think yes. I think yes. The video team are going to do it. No worry about that. You can recap back after that. After this.
I joined little. Can the chef explain the process in short?
Okay. First thing, I will start doing the dry fruit, which is already soaked in with the alcohol, and then you strain out, and then you add in some flour inside, guys. Add in some flour inside to coat approximately about 40 grams of that you place inside. I don't know, because sometimes if your mixed fruit is very wet, you may need more on that. So you coat it to prevent the cake during cooking, the fruit won't sink on the bottom. Okay. After that, we add another like the cranberries, golden raisin, fig, prunes, everything inside together, put in the one bowl. After that, we will start the creaming method, which is using the butter, brown sugar, bread cracker, and the vanilla essence. You beat about 5 minutes to copper the air inside. And then I mentioned before that, no need to copper too much air because your fruit cake is contain a lot of fruit. Expensive version. Okay? And then after you beat for 5 minutes, you add in the flour early. Why I add the flour early, not the egg first? I told you, right? This recipe, they contain a lot of the moisture inside the cake. So I will add in the flour first to let the creaming method become harder, then only I add in the eggs. Then after that, I will put all the mixed fruit inside the cakes, mix well in the KitchenAid for about 30 seconds. After that, I will add alcohol. After that, I transfer to the desired mode. Bake in 180 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes to get the color surface. Okay, this brown color. 150 degrees Celsius for 50 minutes to let the cake slowly cook. You see the bottom also get the color, but I use a very low temperature. Another thing, if you use very high temperature, for example 180 degrees Celsius for entire 50 minutes or 1 hour, you will get outside very dark color, but the middle maybe not cooked. It's still undercooked. Remember, this is a fruit cake. They condense all the mixed fruit inside, condense the liquid. They need time to hydrate the moisture inside your cake. So you need to use a very low temperature to bake. After take out from the oven, after 50 minutes, directly pour the desired alcohol inside. I recommend you use a rum, Grand Marnier, all kind of fruity flavor. Not red wine. Red wine too sour. Okay? Or maybe you say brandy also can, XO also can, but I don't recommend you using the Kirsch because the flavor is too mild. After you pour on the hot cake, the flavor will lose. So you need a strong flavor rum, right? Strong flavor rum, brandy. You pour on top, they still leave the flavor inside. Okay? Another one thing. After you unload like this cake, they cool down already. You keep inside the chiller or freezer. When you want to serve, for example, next few days is a Christmas Eve. Then you can take out from the chiller, or maybe if your place is very cold, it's winter time, you can leave it outside. Malaysia, I not recommend, or Singapore. So you keep inside the chiller before 3 to 4 days. Okay, if winter time, you maybe take out 1 week early to moisturize the cake in the room temperature, because the cake is now still frozen, or maybe there is still chiller condition. The flavor still locking inside. You need to leave it in the room temperature 3 to 4 days to let the flavor come out to the whole cake. And then the moisture from the cake also that will go to the side. Then your cake will be all the same flavor and the same texture. If not, you directly eat now from the chiller, you will feel the dry, very dry at the outside and the surface. Clear? So the reason you need to take out 3 to 4 days, there is a reason you let the mixed fruit, the moisture go through whole cake and then the flavor. Then after that, apricot glaze, you just add in some water. If you don't have, you go and buy the apricot jam, you add in some of the liquid inside, just a little, stir well and coat it. If not, no option, then you use a neutral glaze as well. Then dry fruit, whatever you like, you can put any dry fruit, or you want to put cinnamon stick on top, also can. Any question, guys? Okay, I hope you enjoyed the recipe. See you next time.